I didn't mean to press record, so I'm just gonna jump into it. What's up, strugglers? How's it going? Today we're going to be doing another Godzilla news roundup. Wow, What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing another Godzilla news roundup. This one we will be talking about the upcoming Monarch show for Apple TV Plus. In this series we are covering the chronological development of this show. Today's events will be from August 2022. And I understand that the show has some potential titles out there now. It's being called either Monarch Legacy of Monsters or The Legacy of Monarch. I'm going to wait until Legendary officially announces the title to start picking a stance. I'll just call it Monarch from here on out. But let's get into it. Alright, starting out, let's show off some art, baby. This one is another authentic from 2019. This one is Matt Frank's King Ghidorah poster, and it looks incredible. I really like the dimensions here. I like the head in the foreground. I like the way you move into the background. I love the way you got the foreground, midground, and background covered. I also love the way he draws the gravity beams here. They look great. The storm in the background's great. All of this is really, really cool. I'm a big fan of it. I thought he did a great job with this one. So I wanted to show that off because I think it's awesome. I also wanted to show off Leva Cafe's Godzilla King of the Monsters poster. I believe that's how you say that name. Now this one was made for the old Talent House competition, and I just really liked the aesthetic of it. I also like that they used the alternate title Godzilla 2 King of the Monsters. I once watched this movie on a plane on HBO Max, and out of nowhere it hit me with the Godzilla 2 title, and it was like shocking to see. But I love this. I love the art style of this. I love the really wavy patterns, the way it kind of feels all like water in a way. I really like it. It's very misty, very smooth. I think it's really, really neat. I love the Mothra design. Rodan looks great. Ghidorah looks super cool. And Godzilla's so awesome with the atomic breath that just kind of squiggles into the sky. That's super, super, super cool. A very unique art style, and I'm very happy to show this one off. Another incredible one from back in the day was Dillweed's Mothra, and oh my gosh, this Mothra 2019 looks so amazing. This looks very hand-drawn to me, and if it is, that's great stuff. Such a great talent this is. You've even got details like the wing has some blending on it to make it look like it's a bit smoother, like it's almost out of focus, like you're looking at the body of Mothra is where the focal point of the lens would be. It's a really cool thing, and I think the alterations made to this design are super neat. It's got the much larger, I don't know, you'd say pincers that are used for attacking. These look way more prominent on this than it does on the real Mothra design, and it's so cool. This one looks even more powerful than the Mothra from the movie. I also really like the choice to go with the blue and the red blending into each other. That's another really cool detail here. Very, very clearly inspired by that Mothra versus Rodan shot from the trailer, but was also in the movie. But that's very clearly what this inspired by. And it looks great. Such a great drawing. I wanted to take another moment to give a shout out to my friend Chris Mujahangir, I think I said his name right, from Toho Kingdom. They released The Aftermath, the Godzilla 2014 fan film on the Godzilla Total Destruction YouTube channel. So I wanted to link that down below because around this time in August 2022 it started to get some buzz again. So I wanted to re-mention it here because I like giving shout outs to people who did good work, and I respect the short film grind, so I wanted to give a shout out to it. KDM identified one of the Godzilla 2014 shooting locations as 1000th and 1066 West Hastings Street in Vancouver. Now I wouldn't normally bring up the fact that we have a shooting location from the 2014 Godzilla movie. It's outdated and who really cares? I care because I really like to go to these places in real life. I've been to Boston and I've been to San Francisco so that I could check off my boxes of Godzilla locations IRL, and I actually looked for this location in San Francisco only to find out that it was shot in Vancouver. But I normally wouldn't bring this stuff up except for the fact that they almost shot the Monarch show here. They almost used this exact same street crossing to shoot the Monarch show. If you remember from a couple videos ago, I discussed how the Monarch show was going to have a night shoot in Vancouver, how it never came to pass, and this is where that was going to be. I don't think it was going to be used as the same location in canon. I think it was going to be a different place, but it would have been very neat to see as a fan. We have a Monarch key crew update. So now we're actually fleshing out the key crew who is working on the Monarch production. The director of photography was Jess Hall, of course, from WandaVision, Ghost in the Shell, and Grindhouse, so that was something we did know about. But now we have the B camera and Steadicam operator, we have the second assistant camera, we have the best boy rigger grip. I didn't know they had that many titles at once. I thought those were different jobs. The boom operator and the sound mixer, so that's pretty cool. It's nice to see that they're fleshing out the full crew for the show. I'll continue to cover the crew updates whenever I feel they're relevant, but they do flesh out a lot of the subunits here, and so I'm not always going to talk about it now. Both this show, The Monarch Show, and Godzilla x Kong The New Empire were hit by COVID when making the movies. That doesn't mean that COVID was ravishing the sets and people were getting COVID left and right. Not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that COVID was a heavy burden weighing over productions at this time, making it difficult, so people had to isolate often, wear masks, etc. I actually don't know of anybody on the sets of these movies coming down with COVID. Maybe somebody did, I'm not sure, I don't think they did, but I just wanted to reiterate that because I got some uneducated people complaining on one of my previous videos about how it's silly that they were using mask mandates and how somehow they equated that to more COVID spreading. Not the case. COVID wasn't ravishing these sets or anything, they were just being extra cautious. It's just how it worked back then. Andrew Colville joins as executive producer on this show. I don't have a ton to say about that, but I wanted to mention that we have a new EP. If you don't know what the EPs do, basically that just means he believed in the show, he believed in the project, he forked over some money or helped in some other substantial way, but that doesn't mean he has any influence over the production itself. Julian Holmes, who is a director for The Boys and Daredevil, joins Monarch as the director of 2 of the upcoming episodes. We know that the first 2 episodes are directed by Matt Shakman, but here we have Julian Holmes from The Boys and Daredevil. I actually haven't watched Daredevil season 3, so I haven't seen the episodes he's directed, but I have watched all of The Boys, and I can say that the episodes he directed were very good. They were very good stuff. He directed some season 3 episodes, and season 3 was my favorite of that show, so I'm really excited to see what he brings to this. Also, for those of you who don't know, why are they switching up directors so much in this series? Very common for shows. It's not really common for a show to have one director the whole season, and it's not that big of a deal either because the producer and the showrunner are ultimately going to be the ones who are pulling the strings, making sure that the show is completely consistent within their guidelines. So you can have directors direct certain episodes, but it shouldn't affect the overall feel of the series itself. Emi Kamito joined the Monarch series as a new lead, and so did Marie Yamamoto. I don't have a ton to say about either of these actresses, but it's just nice to see that they're fleshing out the Japanese cast for this show. I think it's going to be very good. I like that they're going authentic with Japanese actors, especially ones that have good accolades. It gives me a lot of hope that this show will be well acted and will also hopefully do the thing that I hope all media starts to do, because it cringes me out when we have like a Japanese character, for instance, go to Japan and hang out with their Japanese family and then still speak English. Always weirds me out. Use your native language. What? I'm really hoping that this show is a multi-language show where, depending on where we are in the world, they're going to be speaking different languages. That's just good storytelling. So I hope they do that in this show as well. Christopher Haidahall, I don't think I said his name right at all, joined Monarch as a new character, Puckett. I like his look. He looks very aggressive. I don't know who Puckett is, but I'm gonna just take a guess here. Puckett's probably gonna be a member of Monarch, and based on his headshot alone, he might be a bit of a tough guy. I don't know. That was a wild shot in the dark. I'm definitely typecasting that guy based on his looks, but that's okay. I'm not the casting director. I can say whatever I want. I ultimately have no influence anyways. Some of our lead actors, so Anna Sawai, Elizabeth Lasawiski, and Joe Tippett, went to Japan to film. They are doing on-location filming in Japan, and in August, they went over to Japan to start filming this show. Again, I just really like that this is a multinational show. I think it's really cool that it is all over the globe, and it's exploring not just the present, but the past of Monarch and the MonsterVerse. So far, confirmed locations to be visited in the show are the United States, San Francisco primary, Japan, Tokyo primary, and then the Philippines. I don't know where in the Philippines, but somewhere in the Philippines. Those are the 3 places we know confirmed we are visiting. We're going to talk a lot more about the Japanese trip in the next video because they started to do some public filming in the next video, and it gave us some good stuff to bite into, and it's pretty cool. Very classic Godzilla. I'm always down to see Godzilla go to Japan. Again, I don't think it's personally needed for this show. The Godzilla has existed in Japan in media for the past almost 70 years, so it isn't a necessary thing to have Godzilla go to Japan, but I'm never gonna be upset with Godzilla going back home. That's always awesome. Godzilla didn't touch down in Japan in the MonsterVerse so far, so it would be cool to see him do so. Another actor was cast. He's a smaller actor, and it sounds like he's going to be playing a bit player, but we got some context to an upcoming scene for this show. There will be a scene featuring a Korean ship with lots of extras and a captain played by Hojang Kim. Don't know anything about this actor, and I don't know much about what's going to happen in the scene, but come on guys, classic Godzilla setup here. You get a bunch of guys on a boat, and it's gonna sink. So I'm excited to see what they do with this scene. Could be nothing, maybe they just are getting off a boat and everything's good to go, but if they're on a big ship, I'm gonna guess it's gonna sink. KDM revealed that the filming we talked about in the last video, the filming that happened in June, happened with Wyatt Russell. This was the set where it was the 1950s Philippines. It had a bunch of Asian extras, old palm trees, old cars. It was all the stuff shot in West Lantern and Westham Island. We have previously talked about this, but we now have confirmation that Wyatt Russell was there, which means we will be seeing the young Lee Shaw character in that scene. I think we did talk about that in the last video. I think I did discuss that I thought that was going to be what that was. I thought that that was going to be a Lee Shaw scene. So it's good to know that that is. Next up, do you guys remember when I talked about Canada Graphs a few videos ago? I talked about this YouTuber called Canada Graphs who stocks productions, especially in the Vancouver area. Well, he did it again. He was up to his good stuff, and he got to witness them filming the car crash stunt we talked about in the last video. Now, I have noticed that their car crash stunt notice was a daytime shoot. They were talking about a daytime scene where a car flips over and then someone gets out. What they actually shot was a nighttime shoot, but they did shoot it and we got to see video of it. I'm not going to play the video in this video because I'm trying to be careful of Legendary's wishes here, but I probably will be showing some photos over this. But yeah, they filmed a car crash stunt. It's a night scene where security guards are trying to direct a car out of the way from a construction area, but instead the car plows right into it, hitting a guardrail and flipping over. This scene is set to take place with Anna Sawai's character, Kate. The stunt double was spotted on set for this, and she was in the car when it flipped. This scene takes place in Japan where electrical construction is going on. It's curious that they filmed the Japanese scene in Vancouver. Meanwhile, they actually did go to Japan to do principal photography. According to a commenter on that video named Lunatic Reason, this scene was also shot in Japan. So they shot this scene twice, once in Canada and once in Japan. In Japan, it was shot with different extras, but the same situation. They had an Anna Sawai stunt actress in the car when she flips. Canada Graph suspects that this is going to be a scene in one of the first few episodes. He thinks it's probably going to be one of the Matt Shackman episodes, considering this was one of the first few days of filming. After they shot this scene, the production moved locations to Japan. So that's probably a pretty fair guess, that because it was shot with the first batch of stuff, that it will probably be within the first few episodes. I think that's a fair bet. I don't really know what the context of this would be. I don't know if they're trying to intentionally sabotage these guys. I don't think they're running away from a monster. I think they are just plowing into something. Anna Sawai's character, Kate, maybe being attacked by like an assassin or maybe someone from Monarch who doesn't want her to find out the truth. I don't know. We do know that this show will deal with some bad operatives in Monarch, so that could be interesting. I'm very excited for this. I think it's cool. I always love stunt sequences and I like a good car flip. I've also never heard of a movie or a show shooting the same scene twice in two different locations with no reason to do a reshoot. What I would say is take that comment with a grain of salt, but we do know that they shot the actual sequence because we got to see it. All right, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons on Patreon. If you want to check out the Patreon and support the channel, you can using the link in the description below. It really does go a long way towards making sure I can keep making videos like this for you guys, and I super appreciate it. Through the Patreon, you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. And that'll do it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.